Hello everyone, I'm Joy Apple, the Director of Success at Orchestry Software. We're here at ESPC 23 in Amsterdam, enjoying this conference. It's a great time, great energy. I have with me Maarten from IT Concern. Maarten, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
Doing great. How have you enjoyed the conference so far?
Well, it's my first day here. We just had a keynote in the morning and one more session. It was very interesting, a lot about Copilot, of course, and a lot of other interesting things. So I'm curious about what else the days bring. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing about AI a little bit throughout the rest of the conference.
Definitely, yeah, a lot about AI.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So tell me about IT Concern.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I work for with IT Concern for 2 years now,
Okay.
and we're a company MSP basically. So we manage IT for our customers. We're based in the Netherlands, and we're about 25 people, engineers and consultants. Yeah, yeah.
So now, how long have you been in the Microsoft space yourself?
Before I came to IT Concern, I used to be a freelance consultant for about 5 years.
Okay.
And before that, I did lots of other IT stuff,
Okay.
but mostly within Citrix and
Beautiful.
old school stuff. So yeah, I've been working with Microsoft 365 for over 7 years now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we could probably swap war stories. I was a consultant as well before
Cool.
I came to Orchestry.
Yeah.
But just curious, what was one of the deciding factors or the driving factor that brought you over to become a partner with Orchestry?
Well, actually, it was back in the freelance days that I was working for a big university in the Netherlands, and we've been looking at provisioning engines because they were struggling with how to templatize Teams and SharePoint sites. So we went over a couple of solutions, and then we came across Orchestry. While it was quite young, actually, I think about 2-3 years ago.
Very young.
But based on the provisioning requirements that company had, this came up as one of the preferred solutions. Unfortunately, we didn't go for it because the company wasn't ready enough to think about what the templates were that they needed. So they ended up sticking with the Microsoft defaults just to learn about what's Teams, what's SharePoint, and hopefully later on they will still decide to go for Orchestry. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, as a freelancer, you're not able to become a partner, and because you don't have that many clients, you just work for a couple of clients. And then as soon as I hit IT Concern, I was like, yeah, I want to partner up with Orchestry. I want to be the first Netherlands Dutch partner of Orchestry. So yeah, we made that.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you've known Orchestry since our early days, where we mostly did provisioning and then have grown to governance, recommendations, and guest management.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of the most compelling business cases where you've seen Orchestry be a solution for one of your customers?
Well, I was really happy to see the gas management because all our clients needed to get AD Premium 2 to manage their gas basically, but now with Orchestry we can just hand them a simple solution that they can manage their guests, because with a lot of tenants, everybody can add guests to their teams, to their SharePoint files, and nobody knows what to do with it. They're just stuck with lots and lots of guests, and nobody manages it. And with Orchestry, we just get insights, and from that insights, we can do actions, and that's really helpful.
That's awesome. Guest management is one of my favorite features as well, because there's a lot of sharing in SharePoint.
A lot of sharing. Yeah.
Well, aside from that, I'm curious. So, selfish question from me, since I lead up the success team.
Yeah.
Support is on my team. Curious what your interactions have been like with Orchestry. How are we supporting you as a partner and your customers?
Yeah, what I find really amazing, and this is not just a sales talk, but I felt important from minute one. Like, I've had sessions with David, with Michael, with you. When we had a question, we're always like, are we priority number one? Or we just get so quick replies, even with the time difference. When we ask a question around 12 or 1 o'clock in our time, 2 hours later you're there. You're awake and just reply and just help us out. And that's really helpful on making it a success for our customer. When they get the quick response, because we get the quick response, then you make it a success. So that's really, really helpful.
So you mentioned that provisioning is one of the first things that you saw from Orchestry in the early days.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if you have any particular provisioning instances that stand out in your mind.
As a freelance consultant, for one client, a construction company, they have like iterative projects. They're always kind of the same process. And what we did for them is, back in my freelance days, we built a PMP script just to templatize the SharePoint side. They used to copy a file folder structure, and then that's how they manage their project. So they went to SharePoint, and there we built this template, and we wanted to copy that SharePoint side. So did a lot of PMP, a lot of PowerShell, I had to build a lot around it with Power Apps, Power Automate. We needed to do Azure functions. So it was quite a lot of work to make that happen. And of course, you leave that company when you're done, you move on to the next one. Company called back 3 years later and they said, the script is no longer working because PMP got deprecated, one of the features that I used. And so I proposed to use Orchestry. And they were like, what's that? So did a demo there, and they were already sold when they saw the provisioning part of Orchestry, but when they saw the guest access management, the insights, they were so happy to see that. So it was a quick sell, basically.
Oh,
it's not really a big company. There were like 120 people, but we implemented Orchestry really quick because we knew what kind of template we wanted to start off with. That project template that we built before, we did that in Orchestry, and it's so much easier because you just use that live template.
Yes.
You create a SharePoint site, connect it in Orchestry, and you just copy and paste it. And now they can manage it themselves, so they no longer need us anymore. They can do it themselves, so that's really wonderful, I would say.
Appreciate that. Great having you here. Appreciate
Yeah, cool.
the time.
Nice to be here, yeah.
Thank you so
definitely.
much.